Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the Bench Network presents Yay, Goblin Storytime! An Under the Mushroom Cap production, Goblin Storytime. It is narrated by me. Oh, goodness. Well, me. I'm Cord. Hi, that's me. I have some letters behind my name, and as of Equinox, I have some more. So it's narrated by me. Goblin Storytime is narrated by me. And I am Doc Wardmaster Cordovan T. Goblins. Please just call me Cord. And I like being green. It's my favorite thing. What is up, party people? So today we're going to do a couple things. This is a much shorter graphic screen. I just want to see what it looks like today. I do want to remind everybody, though, and we'll come back to the special segment a couple times, but the special segment for the show right now. Hello, everybody. It's me. I'm going to put on the glove. Where's the other one? I have one glove. Hello. I have one glove person. And please, if you guys can, share or donate, or preferably both, if you have the means at this time, to support Forkbeard. Forkbeard is a legend of the game. He's done so very much for me and so many others. Both in our foam fighting community and in the burner community. Super awesome family. Lilith is fantastic. One of the most fun people to party with. So if you can support them, mean the world to me. And I know it mean the world to a lot of people and them as well. All right, guys. So hopefully this is way quieter and it's not going to hurt anyone's ears. But I like it. It's so fun. And Tanith has done a wonderful one. Oh, yes, I would agree. Having you be involved is really good. Paladin. And having more human stuff is good. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to blow anyone's eardrums out this time. Oh. Hi. Okay, everybody, it's story time. So, we're going to do a couple stories. I need my other glove. Where is this other glove? That's so strange. Bizarre. Okay. I did not find it. Oh, no. Okay. Today we're going to do a couple things. A couple different stories. But the first story I want to... Oh, well, I guess we can interrupt this by talking about what I was cooking. So, first of all, I just want to give a really big shout out to Flint. Journeyman Flint did an excellent class on how to cull and why culling matters in photography for Belagarth. And I really want to encourage everybody to check it out. I'm sure Flint will post some of the material, whether the recording gets posted or not, it's up to Flint. But I really suggest when the Chroniclers Guild hosts classes over on the Chroniclers Guild Discord, please check it out because it's going to be super useful and awesome. So I am still using chat and figuring that out. So if I look down, I'm just looking at the chat. Definitely excited to have a paladin in the audience today. My arch nemesis, if you would. Dame Kaleda Zabald. But also, I just like to call them the paladin. Her the paladin. She's the big paladin. She's a big paladin. She's like our own Brianna of Tarth. It's kind of funny. Anywho, today, guys, we're going to jump right into story time because I'm really into doing this idea of finishing Neb Stories. And to be completely honest, there's a lot of them. But before, I'm going to give you guys just a really brief rundown of basic Goblin information that I think is going to be important. I decided to start with the Neb stuff, but I think the show's format's going to change here soon. So I want to get this out there. So first of all, if you are present currently live in the chat, do me a solid and put the number 5 in the chat because there are 4, but 5 great goblins. I want to see how many people are here, and Brazen is here. So there's 1, 2, 3. I'll take it. That's all I need. 4. Oh, even excellently more. That's sick. Okay, I'll take that. Perfect. So this is how goblins came to be. In the beginning, there was nothing. And from that nothing came a something. And I'm going to tell the story again with like pictures and stuff. But for now, just know that that something was Maleshikad. And good to see you. From that nothing came a something. The something was Maleshikad. And Maleshikad, at that time, really cared a lot and made a lot of things. And all of these things happened. And I'm not telling you the whole story right now. That's time for another story. But at some point, the cat god, her name is Pizron. I like to say it that way. Some call her Pisron. I like Pizron. I think it sounds better. Decided that she was interested in Maleshikad. And Maleshikad was like, oh, that's something I haven't tried before. I wonder how that's going to go. I'm trying to make mortal life because gods are boring. They're so powerful. It's like kind of boring. Maleshikad made all the gods. And like, so they, they do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Very consensual, very good. But what they did not know is that the mixing of the Maleshikad and the Pizron had a reaction for the Pizron that had something to do with bread. And so when Pizron peed, she was very upset about this fact. Little green things came out. And I don't know if you've ever been around cats, but cat pee, Mama Pizron not smell so good, but also not usually green. And out of these little puddles, oh, thank you, friends. Out of these little puddles came 5 things. And that really freaked her out. So she typically pees over volcanoes. That's why there's a finite number of goblin souls, paradoxically. So, of the pee, little pee, it is what it is. I don't get to choose. Look, I can be whatever I want to be. I'm like a magic wizard person. But the truth of the matter is that I'm a goblin. In fact, I'm so a goblin. Let's see if I can do this. Ha! I'm so a goblin that the truth is I got a goblin. It's just the way. So, long ago, right, these 5 goblins came out of the pea. And if you think about it, when they come from the pea, it's not the greatest creation story, but it is what it is. Now, Pizron sees that the goblins come from pea, and Pizron's not okay with it. Pizron's like, no, that's not okay. Oh my God, where are my ears? It stole my ears. I don't have ears. This is travesty. Okay, I'm trying a different structure. So, how's the audio quality? Is it still good, everybody? Do the thing. Tell me if it's good audio quality. Well, this is so weird. It stole my ears. Yeah, okay, that's what I mean. Okay, these are going back on. Oh, sorry for the noise. How about now? Is it okay? Now you get to see just a weird-looking goblin. Is sound better now? I believe the sound should be better. Okay, wonderful. So, 5 goblins came out of the pea. They were the first 5 goblins. The first 5 goblins in order were Reth. Reth is the number 1. I don't have a good way of showing the symbols. This is so sad. I could have used 1. 1 is Reth. 2 is Sifu. 3 is Neb. 4 is Balk. Patui. And 5 is Scrivet. Scrivet is the youngest. What you need to know for this story to make sense is that Balk betrayed them. So there are 4 great goblins, not 5. Balk is a boo-boo goblin. And now he is a big many-mouthed demon sitting very far away by River of Styx. Sifu is now essentially where Anubis used to be, and Anubis is on vacation. Scrivet's got so angry that Sifu is now Anubis and never able to go on vacation again that he became the embodiment of rage itself and became a comet. Halley's Comet, to be specific. And we'll tell the story of Reth at another point. But right now, Reth is alive, and you guys don't need to know where he is. Neb, however, notice that Neb was number... Reth, Sifu, Neb. Neb was number 3. And at this time, Neb was killing all the things. And so if you remember the last time we talked, you came to the mushroom to glean some stories. We learned that Neb was a general. Neb was a great commander, a being of immense power. Right? And then he died because he battled the demon of the energy beast and was slain in the process of slaying because of really cheaty magic. Okay. Then, now you have basic understanding. Now, all of those guys have essentially gone, right? Those and their whole ilk were true goblins. True goblins, very strong. Like, so much stronger than literally every one of you in the chat combined. So much stronger than me. I mean, like, if you take Shy in his prime and you times him by 50, that would be like the power of a true goblin. Let's put it this way. Like, you're right, okay? Primarch level shit, that's exactly what these are. These are goblin Primarchs. And Maleshikad is the Emperor, sorta kinda. And Pisron can be Malkador the Sigilite if you want to go there. I don't know if that works. I'm making it up. So, we know that Neb died, and we know that lots of other things happened. And then Neb's soul is swimming in the River of Styx, and eventually he come out of the River of Styx into baby Neb. Now we can go backwards and tell you, remember last episode, Neb was born to Mama in the Goblin Hole, and Neb was among mostly dead ilk into tribe of Ukek, and Ukek was very weak leader, and Neb went, and I believe the last story is I was dying of the plague, so forgive me if my brain tells the wrong thing, but I believe the last story that I told was of Neb killing the knight. So, haha, Paladin, we kill your kind! Although, from my understanding, even though you're my enemy, when we talked last, you're far nicer than this other metal being. So, just FYI, I fair enough there. Don't think I'm accusing you of being the same as the Baron. But, you're a paladin and you wanted to be my enemy, so that's your own doing. So, remember, he killed the Baron, and he come back, and he say what? He say, okay, goblins, it's time to go to war, right? I believe that's where we were. So, I want you to know now, we have killed the Pinky Knight, and we are moving on in the story. Now, I will tell you the story of Neb and the Fire Monkey. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and one day, soon perhaps, you will know the beauty of telling stories yourselves. So, is everybody paying attention? I'm only going to tell this more than once. Okay, so Neb is taking over the tower, right? The tower where the Pinky Knight, the Baron, lived. And all the goblins in Nazar are moving closer. They're a little bit scared at first, but it's the first time in a long time that they've been seen. And the tribe of Nazar, they all come together. And they're no longer scared little things. They're unified. They're beginning to smell the air. And Neb orders the goblins to begin to arm themselves. Because they know that the Pinkies, and I actually prefer the phrase Grick, so the Grick will eventually come and try to destroy what Neb be building. He also ordered the goblins to learn the stories of the goblin myths and the Goblin religion, which I prefer to call the Goblin legends, because truthfully, it's like a guideline. I wouldn't say, look, I'm a Goblin God fanatic, but to be completely honest, 85% of the time they don't even respond. And if they do, sometimes it's the wrong thing. And I'm pretty good at it. So, anywho, so, but we must know. And it is because of this moment that so much of these stories have been preserved. So thank you, Neb, for thinking. Because we must know, Neb say, you must know what your inheritance is. Like you understand, you must know what is inside. As this was happening, the fire monkey and the volcano wake up. And if you don't know this, most volcanoes have fire monkeys. Why else are things being thrown everywhere? Just think about it. Duh. Okay, so, aside if you don't know about fire monkeys, they're fire monkeys. So fire monkeys that have lived in this volcano for a long time. Really, as long as anybody has ever known. There had been a fire monkey by the mountain of Nizar. Now, the mountain of Nizar is a powerful place, but then we'll talk about that a little later. So, now this monkey mostly just sleeps under the lava. It's like a warm cocoon, like a little blanket. But sometimes he wakes up, and when he wakes up, he be a bitch, and he's not a good puppy, a good dog or something. No, just an absolute buffoon who throws burning rocks at all the villages and the goblins and breaks their huts and makes them go, and it's not fun. And he just throws stuff. And, well, it's like that the fire monkeys know that the goblins be growing in power. He be waking up. He think of something because he wake up angry. And he throw many burning rocks at what Neb and the other goblins be trying to make. And then, come on, man, they've been stomped down for a long time. They're just trying to get a little bit of up. And anywho, this is a dick of a fire monkey. And finally, Neb is really pissed off. He's like, okay, I'm done with this. Hold my coffee. Not that it's his coffee. He's not gonna go tell Ukek, who's now the intern. I don't know what Ukek is doing. I think it's maybe Ukek is dead. Oh, I don't know. That was a toy. I don't know what Twitch tells me to do. It was a toy, guy. Yeah. So he decided to march up the volcano and teach the fire monkey a lesson. And when Neb reached the top of the volcano, the fire monkey be standing there, a skinny, nasty creature, holding the burning rock over its head. He look at Neb in surprise. Huh? And remember, Neb is quite tall for more normal goblins. He's not a little goblin, he's a big goblin. Also today, I just want to big pause. This is a big shout out of the elbows to Draco, if Draco is watching this. Commander of Beers, I support your movement for nudism now and again. So in this moment, I am recalling the old ways and showing the elbows true and proud. So, this monkey stands there. But, Neb is pretty tall for Goblin, and he just walks straight up to the monkey, and just grab him by the hair, and then knee him in the face. Just like nothing. It's a fire monkey, No fear. Just walk up, grab him by the hair, wham! And then the fire monkey's so surprised, he can't do nothing. He just goes, eep! And he tried to wiggle away. No one has ever tried to hurt it before, It's just up there throwing burning rocks. That's just what it does. It's like ecosystem, Darwinism, But Neb not let it go. Neb don't care that hand is burning a little bit. He just beat the utter crap out of the fire monkey. Just really everything you could think of. Just really pounding him into a little bit of fire monkeys. And finally, the fire monkey gets away and dive under the lava. Eventually, but Neb is like, nah, and he climbed down to the lava pool and he just sit there. Waiting. He knows that the fire monkey has to come up for air eventually, Fire monkeys don't breathe like lava. Come on, guys. They have to breathe something. So he sit there and he waits. Kind of like, resting his knuckles after the beating he gave the fire monkey. But it's be very hot by the lava pools. And he starts sweating. But he refused to give up. He said, no, I'm going to sit here. And eventually, it stops burning so much. And he acclimates to the heat. And finally, he sees the top of the fire monkey's head pop up. Take a big, big breath, and he grab it by the hair. And he pull the fire monkey out of the lava, kicking and screaming. And flinging lava everywhere. This is Neb. Just Neb, right? His name not really Neb yet either. This is... Neb dragged him all the way to the ocean. All the way down the mountain to the ocean. And he drowned him. And he skinned him. And he wear him. Very Herculean. After Neb be killing the fire monkey, the word of him be spreading to all the goblin tribes. Scattered and hiding in the dark places all across the world. His name be whispered in the forest and holes and the caverns. The goblins telling the old stories. The stories of the glory of ancient Nizar. But only a few is courageous enough to set out on the journey, the long journey, to the valley of the volcano. Still, slowly, they began to trickle into the valley, and the goblins of Nizar were busy, tearing up the earth, knocking down trees, and biting the stone from the mountains. They raised tall walls and towers for a new city. That's right, goblins make cities. It's canon. Rising tall and defiant in the shadow of the fiery mountain. Many litters are born. The goblin numbers swell, and the sound of pounding hammers fills the air as the goblins prepared for war again. But through all this, Neb be distant, pacing his den atop the Baron's tower, surrounded by noise and activity, and goblins going in and out, wanting instructions and inspections and orders and permissions to do this, that, and the other. And he speak, but not seem to pay much attention. Balthazar, remember his father, step in and oversee the building of the city and the goblin power. But what beyond Neb's mind? He soon find out. One night he awake with a fright and start to find Neb standing over him. Neb torch make the shadows dance in the small room and turn the pits of his taunt, sunken face. Remember, he's really tall and skinny. Into black caverns. He have long iron chain wrapped across one shoulder, water skins hanging from his belt, and the fire monkey's fur flung across his narrow back. Neb, what is this? Balthazar asked. Follow me, Balthazar. We're going up the mountain. Balthazar knew better than to ask why, so he followed Neb in silence. They passed through the heart of a new city, which still be churning, even in the depths of the night, and out through the heavy gates and huge wall rising from the stumps of the forest. Neb's pace quickened as they reached the slopes of the mountain, and they at the top when the sun's first light began to sneak into the sky. Neb speak. When I fight the fire monkey, I see stairs leading down to the throat of the volcano. And every night since I dream of them.
there be voices calling me, ancient voices, heavy with age, some older than Nazar, some older than this mountain and valley, some voices from the beginning of the world, I thinks. They standing at the edge of volcano, below them be the rocky bowel, and the lava be boiling. See, he point, there they be. Balthazar look, and far below them he sees steps, worn and black, jutting from the rock, almost gone. The rest be crumbling, and they vanish into a black crevasse. There came a rumbling from deep, deep in the chest of the volcano. The lava leap and wind rush into their face, warm, twisting with heat. Listen, Balthazar. Can you hear them? They whisper to me. No, they screaming. Balthazar shield his face from the mountain's furious breath. He look at Neb, and Neb's hair be swept back, teeth bare, eyes matching the mountain's fire with their own. Neb, I don't know if you should go down there. It's so hot. And Neb turned and looked at him with a grin. Is it? I feel nothing. He places chain on the rock, pull out huge iron spike, and pound it deep into the stone with 3 blows. Neb took a long drink of water, and then poured it over him. Wrapping himself in the fire monkey's skin, he tossed the chain over the edge. It bounced off the steps and vanished into the darkness, the deep blackness. They're not gonna suffer Nizar to grow. There not be a single race or nation on this earth that will suffer us to live in strength. If I not come back, it mean I not the goblin we need. If that happen, then be wise. Lead goblins with care. Don't let them be crushed. But most of all, don't let them be cowards. Then he slipped over the edge and climbed down the steps. He looked back up once to where Balthazar stand, arms shielding face from the crippling heat. And then he descend out of sight. The deeper he go, the hotter it be, until the water hiss and boil from his skin, and the rocks around him glow with fire. Still he walk on, until his clothes is all turned to ash on his body, except the fire monkey's fur. Still he touch the stone and feel no more than warm to him. Deeper he go, and carvings begin to appear on the step walls. Ancient goblin runes, symbols of Khadins and tribes and heroes long dead. He feel old magic, tired but dangerous, reaching out for him, then sliding off his skin like cold fat. Finally, he step onto the stone floor. A floor not made by goblins. A floor in a room so massive it stretched beyond his sight, into the deep darkness, into the heart of the volcano. Pillars reached up around him, some cracked and broken, others untouched by time. All about him strewn bones of goblins in armor, their shields hanging above them, each marked with the burning mountain of Nizar, or the flaming swirl of Scribbit. All the kings and Khadins of Nizar from the ancient days, all the way until its fall. He walked deeper into the room, until the shields be crumbling to dust, and the armor stands of rust on the ground. The voice whisper, I defend Nizar from the Elfies beyond the sea. I end civil wars and unite Nazar again. I send goblins out to conquer and burn and take back what was ours. I kill goblins for sport, and I laugh as they beg my mercy. I make us hard and fearless. Who is you? Who you is, what you do, why you here. Different voices from deeper and deeper pasts, all asking him the same question. Voices growing fainter with age, and finally he reached the end of the room, and he faced a great wall set with a gigantic thrones, with symbols in glowing gold, silver, and jewels above them. Neb recognized them. Symbols of the elf gods, of dwarfs, of orcs, of umans, and in the center the great arm of Marjak. Before them all an empty suit of armor stand, holding a sword and a shield. It be solid metal, rough, hewn, black as coal, a stern helm with a gash in the forehead, a gash like an eye, and a faint green glowing energy spilled from it. As Neb watched, the eyes ignited within the helm, and a voice spoke, rocking the mountain around them, burning with power and ancient majesty. I lead the goblins since time began. I lead them in wisdom. I guide them in war. I last of the goblins as we were. I lead us in last war. I stand before gods and defy them. I never die. Neb slowly sinks to his knees as he realizes where he be and who he be speaking with. Breath. Yes. And you be Nebuchadnezzar, king of the goblins. Take the armor, Neb. Too long has Maleshikad's gift sat in these halls, staring at bones. Take the weapon he gave me when goblins was young and the world was new and wondrous. Remind the goblins who they be. Remind the world who we be. Write it with fire and terror on the cities of those who oppressed us. Carve out our story of an ancient fury reborn at last. Neb stand and walk to the armor. He put his head against the helm and looked into Reth's eyes. I will write that story, Reth, so big the world sees and understands. Reth laughed. I know you will. Perhaps too much. Neb bare his teeth. I not believe that there be such a thing. With that he grasped the hilt of Reth's sword and unsheaths it, a shriek of metal that echoes through the hall. The very place where Marjak and the gods sat in judgment of Reth after his last battle, and the seat of an ancient empire, where Maleshikad reached down to earth and took Reth away, crushing the gods' physical bodies on their golden thrones, cracking the stone foundation of the entire city with the weight of his presence, and raising a burning mountain where once the proudest city of all the gods stood. When Neb climbed out of that volcano, there stand a goblin, a lone goblin in a long robe. Tattoos of the goblin gods covered her face. With staff in hand, she smiled And from that day, fire was nothing to him. He bore the ancient weapon again, and the terror of the whole world. Hail, Nebuchadnezzar, forever king of the goblins. I need to go get a drink, so I will be right back. But I want you to know that we're only getting started. Today we might go a little long because I told you guys lots of stories. Okay, I will be right back. Don't go nowhere. Alrighty. I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. And I'm sorry about the ads. I will see what we can do about that. Alright. Hello, Stellar. Would you like to talk to the people? Would you like to talk to the people? I have people. As you know, it is 7:40, which means a chronicler apprentice. It is Goblin Storytime. Indeed. Alrighty, everybody. So we're back to it. I will also be there, Pickle, so you can hear some stories in person. Full transparency, guys. It's not like short stories left. I just want you to know that. So I hope you guys are ready for it, because I'm doing it. So who do be the... Oh, hello! Come, say hello. This is Stellar. Everybody can say hello to Stellar. Say hello to Stellar. Hello, Stellar, everybody. Say hello to everybody. Good job. Okay. This is a plant person. He's in pinky form. Ah, Mongoose says let the tree speak. Say a thing. Say a plant thing. Well said. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody says hello back. Good. Okay. So remember, Neb climbed out of the volcano. And then... Wait, is there an ad going on? Ad? Well, I'll wait for... Is the ad still here? Wait, go away, ad. I don't want you. We'll figure out this whole ad thing. I don't like it. Okay. So remember, he go to top of volcano. He climb out the volcano. And then there's a goblin there in a long robe with a staff saying, "You all hail Nebuchadnezzar, forever king of the goblins." So, that be a witch doctor, like me. The witch doctor's name be Cheetah, and she walk out of the forest with her apprentices. The Neb go down into the volcano. She the first goblin on this earth at this time to hail Neb as king. Ah, la la la. You're not my king. I didn't vote for Neb. Let's be real. Not just because his face is right there. I did not vote for him. When the goblin heard of Neb's victory over the Baron and the Fire Monkey, they spoke in hushed tones. And when they heard that Neb had descended into the mountain and emerged with Reth's armor, that Cheetah witch doctor Well, Cheetah, the witch doctor, had hailed him as king, and Mober, the great goblin, had sworn his tribe to Neb's skrill. The trickle of goblins going to Nizar became a torrent, an avalanche, a stampede, throwing the Grick and Pinky and Dwarf nations into confusion. And as the goblins emerged from everywhere and nowhere, trekking across mountains, seas, and deserts to answer his call, his skrill grew from 2 tribes to 10 tribes to hundreds of tribes, until every goblin tribe came and swore allegiance to Nebuchadnezzar and the Burning Mountain, and it be named the Great Skrill. So, if as a tangent, the Burning Moon Temple, the Temple of the Burning Moon, my Burning Moon, well, maybe the Mountain of Zar caught it on fire. I'm just saying, perhaps we come from those, I'm not that special, but, you never know. So, great it be. And it really be terrifying all of the Pinkies. So, again, I like to use the word Grick, so terrifying to all of the Grick. They watched the power of Nizar swell, but Neb not foolish. He not throw away his strength in the moment he gain it. There be more goblins in Nizar than gathered in ages, but they starved, weak, and they're more accustomed to running and hiding than fighting in battles. That's no good. So he give it time. Very, very smart goblin. Very smart goblin. He give it time for litters to be born, times for goblins to recover strength, time for weapons to be made, time for Mober to train the goblins the ways of the war and beat the fear out of them. Ooh, I have a sandwich! But it'll have, thank you, but it'll have to come in a little bit. So, Mober's really strong, like by far stronger than you'd think, right? And it gives time for Cheetah to train new apprentices, time for the walls of Nizar to grow high and strong. Neb himself train with Mober every day as hard as he can. Mober be strong, by far stronger than Neb, but Neb quicker and full of rage, and far beyond any other goblin. Soon it be Neb who thrashing Mober in the training pit, not the other way around. But all of his rage and all of his preparation, he always refused when the other goblin chiefs came and demanded he lead the goblins to war. He know that war will come no matter what he do, so he let the others start it. So he have all the time to prepare as possible. Oh my god, that is like a kobold thing. You guys gotta see this plate. Look at this plate. It's koboldic. Kobolds.
Couldn't not get it.
I know, it's very koboldic. I approve. So, Neb not only know war be inevitable, but he also know who the war be with. Like, the war's gonna be with the Elfie, the king of the stars. The volcano of Nizar, surrounded by forest and enclosed in massive impassable mountains, thrust up from the ground when Maleshikad reached down to take Reth away. So that should be adjusted. It says Neb in my notes here, but that's not true. It's to take Reth away. One mountain valley led to Nizar, from Nizar to the Great Plains. Only one. And in a vale midway down this valley, there'd be the Kingdom of Stars. It's not really a kingdom. It's just one huge city with high magical walls and pretty elf towers on them. And in the middle, there'd be one big, massive tower, and reaching almost all the way to the tippy top, all the way to the top of the mountains. Like, this is a really big tower. And this tower be called the Tower of the Stars. And that's what the Elfies call it. And then the goblins call it the White Tooth, because it just shines in the sky. So these be the Elfies who crushed the remnants of Nizar long ago. And same King of the Stars, too. Like, he's been around for a long time. And now they waken and realizing that the Goblin Kingdom has been reborn on their footsteps. And this is not good. And Neb know that the power of the ancient Elfie Kingdom be Nizar's first challenge. They know. The King of Stars know what Neb be doing. He know that he cannot risk open battle with so many goblins. not in rough terrain of valley, and especially not beneath new risen walls of Nizar. But he not worry. He be old Elfie with many magics, and his people be old, wise, and strong. The walls of the kingdom of stars be smooth and unbreakable, set with archers and war machines and mighty wizards. The king of stars know he must lure goblins beneath his walls and break them. He also know, given time, that goblins' impatience will work against them and work in his favor. He expect them to attack soon. And he's surprised when Neb hold goblins back for so long. Finally, he know he must incite goblins to such fury that they waste strength in attacking on his walls. And so he send out Elfie killers. Makes me think of one I know. His name is Aragon. And they hide in the trees, like, Elfies do, cowardly, and wait until the great goblin chief of Steel Storm tribe come by hunting. And they kill him, and all of his goblins, and they hang them in trees. Like, it's kind of fucked up. It's kind of messed up, right? The Steel Storm tribe be large and powerful, and the chief be popular among the goblins of Nizar, and the goblins are angry. And to say they're angry was too much. It was an indescribable angry. And Nebuchadnezzar sat on his throne before the masked goblins of Nizar, and he could feel the weight of their screams for blood and vengeance pounding in his ears. He knows that if he not give it to them, even he might lose control of the kingdom. But more important, he knows the time be right, that they finally have the fury they need. He stand and unsheath his sword, and Elfies think they be hunting animals, forgot they be hunting monsters. This'll be fun. Break walls, kill them, drink Elfie blood, wag! And with that, the great Skrill went to war. What kind of sandwich? Oh, that looks so yummy. I should tell the story. Okay. The tribe pour out of Nizar, spilling into the forest, dragging Elfie scouts from trees and eating them alive, putting ruined skin on armor and poles and carrying them before the host. Elfies flee in horror from the horde as it rush into the vale. Huddling behind the walls of their cities, drums and horns screaming. Drums and horns and the screams of the goblins fill the air and night, making the Elfie babies weep and cry, and Elfies go pale as a shake, like paler than they already are. High up on the white tooth, high up on the white tooth, the King of Stars could feel a twinge of worry as he sees the goblins pouring into the vale, beyond count, without end, armor black against the pretty fields, spears and banners, and a dark forest. He feared he waited too long. And on the other end of the vale, Neb stood on the cliff overlooking the kingdom. The forest ended at the river that cut the vale in half. Between the river and the city there be large open meadow, filled with Elfie farms and gardens. He orders the goblins to tear down forest and float logs across river to make a tower and rams and trebuchet, and for a week burn and cut and hammer until all be ready. It do be good story, Falcus. I would agree. Oh, my sandwich! Oh no! No, Bodhi, you can't have that. That's mine. I will fight you. Nom nom nom. Saving that for later. Okay. And as the sun set on the last day, the goblins throw themselves against the mighty walls. Fire burning as trebuchets as the Elfie war machines spit thunder at one another. It's like, poo-poo, pew, wah, wah, wah. Okay. wheels of the tower creaking. It was just a mess, right? And goblins started screaming in fury and pain as the elfie arrows stormed down among them. High above, the moon and the stars look on in silence, as they do. But in the end, the walls be too strong, and the stones shatter on them, and the rams crack. There be too many elfie archers, and far, far, far too many elfie wizards, calling fire and lightnings down, brushing aside attempts of the witch doctors to stop them, knocking over towers with great winds and crushing goblins by the hundreds. But goblin magic doesn't always work. Only one tower make it to the walls. It'd be the greatest of them all, massive, made of a solid oak edged in steel, painted black, with protecting runes painted in the elfies and goblin blood over every inch of it. Atop it, riding Mover and Cheetah, and for once it seems the elfie wizards who find themselves brushed aside, and it's the elfie wizards who find themselves brushed aside and thrown aside and broken and screaming. And when the tower let its bridge go, there be Mover, all in steel, laughing at the elfie arrows and spitting and splitting the elfie spears, laying waste with his hammer. It be a close things. Elfies expect hordes of little goblins. They not expect hordes of goblins, and a couple of damn near unstoppable goblins on top of that. So yes, it be close. Led by Mover and Cheetah, the goblins break off the walls and begin to spill into the city, burning and terrorizing. But it be only the one tower that make it. So all the elfie defenders collapse in on them, surrounding them and cutting them to pieces. Mover stabbed and hacked more time than he knew, until even his strength began to fail. And finally the King of Stars himself came against them, his armor glinting blue, his wicked sword thin and curved, purring with magic. The King of Stars wreaked ruin on the goblin survivors, and Mobear died there for sure. But Cheetah throw her arms around him, and they vanish with a great rush of wind. The assault failed. Neb led what left of the goblin horde across the river, and they dig in deep into the ford, preparing for the next elfie attack. Sure enough, next day the gates of the Kingdom of Stars opened, and the elfies marched out, a huge host, many more than Neb expected them to have, because the Kingdom of Stars lived in peace for thousands of years and grew some of the strongest elf kingdoms in the world. Each elf be armored in silver steel, the wizards floating on wisps of clouds, and the King of Stars himself be tall and terrible, cold as ice to behold, eyes chill as bitter as his sword. The two armies face each other in the early morning, and the King of Stars tells heralds to call out that he wished to speak to the Goblin King. And to the surprise of both goblins and elfies, Neb accept. He walk out from the trenches and wade into the water, dark and threatening in full armor. The King of Stars watch him approach, and may be shocked to realize this goblin be as tall as him. Neb's eyes glow from inside Reth's helm, deep in his sunken face, like twin rubies in deep caverns. For a moment, the King of Stars felt unnerved, just for one moment, until he remembered who he be and how many goblins just like this one he faced down and killed. Well, none like this one in the past few thousand years, but whatever. You're braver than your kind tends to be, Goblin. They generally don't dare to separate themselves from the horde. However fearless your warriors are, the kings always tend to develop a love for living. Neb make no answer. Just cock his head to the side and keep looking at the King of Stars. The King of Stars smiles. He see now why this goblin horde be more dangerous than most. You'll be pleased to know that while your assault was unsuccessful, Your goblins were the first foes to cross over our walls in all of history. And our history is substantial. Neb still not answer. Elfie a little upset. Do you plan on saying anything at this party? Partay? Parlay? Parlay. That's a pirate word. Goblin? Or were you just here to hear interested in hearing my voice? Neb smirked at him. King of Stars bristled with anger. For a moment, before making himself calm down. He knew better than to fall for old goblin tricks. You goblins are all the same. Timid scavengers or warrior kings. None of you have sense to avoid death when it comes for you. The army that stands before you is the same army that crushed Nazar in ancient times. But now, 3,000 years later, it has grown in numbers and in skill. You have accomplished more in a year than any of your kind has in the past millennia. But we outmatch you, fool. You cannot defeat the elves, goblin. Neb smirked. He liked smirking. His smirk got bigger, and he leaned close to the King of Stars. The Elfie tensed up, tightening the grip on his sword hilt. A shiver of anxiety ran through his army. But Elfie, we isn't trying yet. Give us a chance. He walked away, back to the goblin army on the riverbank. The King of Stars shakes his head, walks back to the Elfie line, and signals to attack. You guys still with me? This is a long story. You guys still awake? Do I need to play some music to get you all on the groove? Are we doing story time? Everybody still here? Okay, I hope so. Day not go so well. Wait, are you guys here? Uh-oh. Did I freeze out? No, I was here. Okay, go. Did not go so well for goblins. The rain of arrows never stopped, and then they kept finding and killing goblins wherever they'd hide. Elfie wizards would throw bridges of ice across the river in dozens of places, allowing the Elfies to pour across wherever they wanted to go. At the ford, Neb met the King of Stars, waist deep in water, and they fight. Neb hacked and smashed with fury, but the Elfie never touched. Never there when the lowland. Elfie swords sing with nasty magic and ring out horrible music on Neb's armor, but it's not sharp enough to pierce Maleshikad's gift. And Neb never give him the chance to strike through the weaker points in the armor. Finally, goblins of Nazar be broken and forced back from the river, and they flee through the forests to the high pass, chased and hunted by the elves, on horse and on foot. Neb take what left of the main force at the ford and fight his way out, leaving the King of Stars triumphant and control of his land once again. But the Elfie King know war not be done. Not be done until Neb is dead. That war with the goblins never over until the leader be killed. His army assemble at the base of the mountain and prepare an assault the next day. Neb mercilessly plans to assault Neb mercilessly and force the goblins to work through the night to prepare defenses, because Neb is mean. He's actually legitimately mean. And when the Elfies wake up, they face a grim amount of stonework across high, narrow pass. The King of Stars knows that assaulting on the goblins is going to be costly, but he also knows that he cannot let them be. Let alone, he know we will just slip down mountains into the night, right? And then keep harassing the elves, and it's not going to be good. He know that any delay in the war simply leaves times for new goblins to be armed and prepared for battle. He know that once he capture the pass, the war be over. Goblin army be broken and at terrain disadvantage. He also know that though goblins have unmatched endurance, which is true, they must be tired from fighting 2 losing battles and digging 2 lines of defense in 2 days. He pray for souls of Elfies who are about to die and give orders to prepare the attack. But before the battle begins, he asks to meet Neb again. Once again, Neb come down and speak to. But King of Stars not waste time that day. Leave the mountain pass or we will make you leave, he say. Neb not answer, of course, just smirk. Very well. But you are outmatched, and I will prove to you again, fool, you cannot defeat the elves, goblin. Neb laugh.
Outright this time. But Elfies, we still isn't trying yet. Give us a chance. It worse than King of Stars fear. Entire lines of Elfies slaughtered on the slopes, crushed by boulders and ambushed by hidden goblins, proud dead bodies littered slopes, glittering like jewels in pretty elf armor. Elfie arrows not as effective firing up, and Elfie wizards not able to use full power for fear of collapsing avalanches onto advancing Elfie army. It's late in the day, and more Elfies has died than King of Stars want to think about when he make his last attack. He gather all the Elfie elite, his royal guards, Elfie lords and war masters, but not my kind, and lead them up the slopes himself, surrounded by 10 wizards floating on clouds. This time they smash through the goblin lines, through the slopes covered in more Elfie blood. They almost get to the last wall when Neb lead massive counterattack against them, throwing most of the goblins that are still alive into a final effort to stop the King of Stars' advance. Nebuchadnezzar smashes through the elite lines, crushing and killing the lords, masters, and wizards alike. Down the mountain the goblins roll in the wake of the great king, hurling Elfies back down. King of Stars sees Nebuchadnezzar coming, hears goblins screaming his name and mocking him. As he shoved past his guard and raced to meet Nazar face to face, they crash together, shields shaking and bones jarring. All about them, goblins and Elfies fight to decide the outcome of the war as the two kings struggle, one to ascend and the other to cast down. 5 times the King of the Stars tried to force past Neb, and 5 times Neb smashed him back down with shield, until Elfie plume and cloak be ripped and haggard, his flesh bruised and his blue armor chipped. Finally, the 6th time, the King of Stars slipped his sword past Neb's shield and threw a gap in armor under Neb's right arm, sinking deep and smashing him back once more. He'd look up at Neb and smile in triumph. Though bruised and bleeding face, he's smiling. His sword be strong in magic and enchanted against goblins. But Neb's standing there, not wavering. Blood running down his side, yes, but no sign of magic gnawing at him. The King of Stars hears a weaving and choking sound and looks down. Neb's blood be running down the blade, thick and black, and as it do, the light of his sword flicker, and its music be strangled. He quickly wipe the blood off of what left of his cloak, and the sword starts humming again, though it sound tired. He looked up at Neb's laugh. Something wrong with your sword, knife ear? The King of Stars snarled up at him. Something wrong with your your arm, monster? Ah, yes. Neb's army be exhausted and faltering, slowly being pushed back over the walls, and off to pass by furious Elfies. Neb's grin back down at the Star King, the King of the Stars. Oh well, guess we try harder next time, he say, before turning back up the mountain. Elfie armies stand on high peaks, victorious again, but weary, wounded, and grieving. Many, many, many Elfies lie crushed, stabbed, and hacked on what were majestic mountain slopes. But only a few goblins made it off the passes and into the safety of the forests on the other side. Since when are the forests the domain of goblins and not elves? Demanded King of Stars as he sits fuming in his tent in the mountain. He know that Neb escaped, and he probably have to lead army to assault walls of a new city. His generals shift uneasy side to side, glancing at one another, and the healers who tend to the King of Stars' wounds try to be very quiet. Why is it that none of you could bring me the head of that goblin? One little goblin is all I ask, is all I need to achieve victory in this war, and none of you, not the whole mass power of my army and my mages, could beat this beast for me.
He has a tightened grip on the wine goblet to stop from hurling it at the Elvies, who duck into the tent as he's ranting. He behaving like Madden Umi, and he know it. But to have final victory still out of reach after so many deaths be infuriating. And also he know his own defeat, or maybe stalemate, with Neb on the mountain, grinding away at his calm. The general who just entered the tent looked at the other Elfies nervously before speaking. my king, we have just received news of this goblin you seek. He's actually on the ridge behind our camp screaming things about your grace and demanding a parley with you. Start sending our best rangers, and I mean our very best, into the surrounding rocks around this ridge, and our best wizards too. Spells of invisibility, complete silence. I don't want this beast to hear any breath of it. I'll meet him, but he won't be coming back down from that rock alive. Understand? The King of Stars be stalking through Elfie's camp, giving orders as many squires hurry to strap on his armor. His hand be on the sword hilt, and it's singing again. He can hear Neb now, shrieking insults and laughing from the rock. Laugh away, he think. It's your last night on Earth. So, he began to climb the ridge, and Elfie slipped silently past him into the darkness. Finally, he reached where Neb's standing, and below them be Elfie's camp. To the east be the Tower of the White Tooth, and to the west be the valley and the burning mountain of Nazar. Neb smiled at him. Thank you so much for coming, Elfie. Thank you for coming to my parlay. The King of Scars scoffs at him. You seem to be favoring your right side of it, Goblin. Did you get into a fight? You look like you gotten the shit beat out of you, Mr. Elfie King. Did an Elfie woman have an argument? Not sure about that. King of Stars stepped closer. I didn't come here to listen to your insults, monster. You have a quick tongue, but you lack the strength or the wit to back it up, just like the goblins always have. And I would know. I was here when this valley was created. O King of Goblins, I was here when your empire was crushed and wrath vanished, and the races were left to fend for themselves, and I'm telling you now that he was the last of your kind worthy of your history. You goblins today are broken, weak, craven shells of the creatures who ruled Earth when I was born into it. So yes, I know the secrets of this valley's origin, its powers, and its importance to you creatures, and why I came here and crushed the pathetic remnants of your kingdom, and kept you beasts sealed from the world. And after I kill you, I'll continue to do so until the world is changed. As he's speaking, Neb's eyes kept flickering to the east, where White Tooth shining in the starlight. What are you looking at? Demanded the King of Stars. What are you looking at, Goblin? The King of Stars stared at Neb for a moment, and then laughed. And he laughed, and he laughed long and hard, and finally drew his sword. Fine. I admit, you are exceptional, King, but you are still gonna be dead. You take one step towards Neb, before Neb hold out a hand and tell him to stop. And point east again. King of Stars hesitate, not wanting to be tricked, but suddenly there be a rumbling in the ground. His eyes flick to the Tower of the White Tooth in time to see it shift. And his stomach suddenly began clawing against his skin. In one moment he remembered and understood. When goblins be pouring into the vale, earth wizards come to him about strange vibration, but decide it must be from uncounted thousands of goblins descending from the mountain. But no, it be from goblins descending. It be from goblins digging. White Tooth shift again, and then agonizingly, by inch by inch by inch, tipped over and crumbling slowly and thunderously to the ground. The King of Stars scream in pain, in denial, in rage, rushing to the edge of the cliff, falling to his knees and screaming as his people be screaming, as entire horde of goblins pour out of the cracks of the earth, screaming as his army be screaming, as they break and race towards the burning homes and their slaughtered family, screaming as the flames consumed his life, his kingdom. Finally, he stopped. Throat raw, he watched flames rise. There be soft whisper in his ear. Foolish elfies, you cannot defeat the goblins. He rose then, in wrath, not grief, with all his speed and his fury, all his power from all his ages of life, and his sword shriek with anger like it never known as it seeks Neb's neck. And it all came to a shaking, unbelievable halt as Nebuchadnezzar catch the sword in one armored hand. The King of Stars have time to widen eyes in disbelief before Neb smash his helm into the king's brow. And the Elfie's world began to spin. Neb smashed him again and again and again and again and again until the Elfie's helmet shattered and fell to the ground in pieces, and bloody pus running down his face, and Neb tossed him to the ground. He tried to stand. He tried to crawl. He tried to crawl away. Now, he choked. Kill him! Now! Archers! Wizards! Where are you? What? He looked around in confusion as laughter, not arrows or spells, answered from the rocks. And finally, he see Elfie Archmage standing in the shadows. Arcanister Iluis, help me! But in response, the mage just jerked, arms and legs flailing about, and the King of Stars now see blood that cover him and his dead eyes, as Cheetah peeked around the Elfie corpse and cackled. All about him, goblins standing in the rocks, laughing, and he hear a soft humming as he feel his sword slide up through his body and pierce his heart. And it ends at last. And that is how the King of Stars died. And that is where we will leave off today with Neb's Stories. Because honestly, guys, we still have quite a bit of history to get through. So we'll talk about it when you catch Goblin Storytime next. It may happen before, it may happen after. It might happen at Ockfest. You never know. We've got 2 more stories, friends. So please catch us next time for Goblin Storytime. Thank you for coming and sitting under the mushroom cap with me and listening to the stories of our history. I remind you all the value of friends, fun, and laughter. Don't take yourself so fucking seriously. We all have things to master. It's only and just a game, but also it's not, and that is the beauty of what we've got. So welcome and thank you for listening to Monster Stories. And with that I say, remember, the bench is on Thursdays at 7 p.m. If you'd like, we could do a Court ASMR. That's fair. That would be interesting. If you want, we could do like a quick Q&A, but we're going to end it out with some music.
Are you ready?
It's story time! I have a sandwich. And cranberry juice. Okay. So, we will do a little bit of Q&A. So, to answer... I love the ending. Oh. Hi. So these stories come from the stories of Nebuchadnezzar, which were discovered. It's the history of Nebuchadnezzar, and they were discovered by witch doctor Kazi, who many of you know as a Kadim, but he's a witch doctor. During his vigil, I believe it was the vigil of a rebirth. I want to say it happened in like 2011, but maybe Galia knows when it happened. I don't actually remember. It was before, I don't know if it was before my time, but it was definitely back there. Anywho, so that's where it comes from, Mongoose. It comes from, it comes from the stories of Nebuchadnezzar, which you can find in the Geddon if you'd like to find them. I will take approximately 2 more questions, and then we will call it, because you guys have been such a wonderful audience. I appreciate you so much for being here, and hopefully you like these stories. The last bit of the story is going to be really exciting. So, I hate to say that I'm not the person to ask that question to. I would be unsurprised if parts of it were allegorical. And now, we will have quick other story. There was long time ago Greek named Satanaka. We don't like him. He was allergic to celery. I have 2 stories that happened. These are Goblin stories. In the long time ago, the witch doctor Scrade put the Goblin snot belly and the Goblin kudzu into a vehicle being a dragon. And I'm going to answer Falcus's question in a second. Anyway, and they drove to this gentleman's house and filled their porch with celery. And actually, at an event, they served feast with celery and everything, including the dessert, which was cake, looking like pop with celery coming out of. Why? Because this gentleman was allergic to celery, and we don't deal with fuckheads here. If you are going to be a terrible person, the monsters will come for you. It is what we do. I don't care if you think I'm a goody 2-shoes. I kind of am kind of nice sometimes, right? Okay, but no. If you're a fuck, we will come get you, and it'll be not so fun. What is my favorite Neb insult? Look, I don't like Neb insults. It's rude. Okay, Neb is a horrible person to live with. I'm going to be completely honest. It was not fun. Neb really liked, when I was going through my witch doctorate, Neb really liked to call me a watermelon because Ugar, and Sir Ugar, who used to be a goblin and then became not a goblin, used to call me watermelon to piss me off so that I would fight harder because he thought I was a little, watermelon. I'm not fucking watermelon. If anything, maybe I'm a kiwi. I'm like a tan color on the outside and a green on the inside. But, anywho, Neb is very xenophobic. He don't like anybody who isn't a true goblin, and the problem is there aren't really any true goblins left. So I think the worst insult Neb's ever done for me, though, is when he looked at me and he said, "You'd make a great elf." I kind of sat there for a second. It's a very, very hard thing to hear from, in many ways, what could be considered a goblin I look up to. And he said it when I was in a vulnerable moment, so I don't know. It was a rude one. So there you go, Falcus. He said I'd make a good elf. I don't know how to take it, but not good. Yeah. I just want you guys to know that if you lick his eyeballs now, they're sour. But if you licked his eyeballs 6 years ago, they weren't sour. And with that, friends, thank you for coming to the Mushroom Cap. We will do some more learning of the listenings here soon. I wish you all an extraordinarily wonderfully westernly, an extraordinarily wonderfully happy and wonderful Wednesday, and we will catch you not next week because of Ockfest, but at some point. So just keep an eye. We'll figure things out. With that, everybody, toodles!